Testing 1, 2. Let me get my monitor set up real quick. Go ahead and type in the chat where you're from. What are your thoughts on this whole H&M deal? Is it even worth a discussion? Is it even worth a discussion? All right. That's what I want to know. That's what we're talking about today. I posted that article on my page. For those of you who do not know me, I am H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community. Just want to share my thoughts on the whole H&M deal. I think I'm live, but my monitor says I'm not just yet. Maybe I need to reset it. Maybe it's just taking a little while to show up that I'm live. If you can hear me, go ahead and type in the chat where you're from. Who invited you out tonight or this afternoon? What are your thoughts on this H&M ad deal? Let me see something real quick. I'm going to give you my thoughts here in a second. I just want to make sure that I can see your comments. Says I'm live. But then it says still waiting on financial health mentor. Let's see. All right, so let me jump off this thing and then jump back on and make sure that I'm streaming. All right. There we go. I think we're on. Now go ahead and type in the chat. I don't know why it didn't come on at first. What are your thoughts on this H&M deal? I'm gonna give you my thoughts here in a second, but let me know who's on checking us out. What are your thoughts on this whole H&M fiasco? I'll tell you why I think there's some things that we ought to be a little bit more offended by that we're not offended by. And quite frankly, should we be offended by the H&M deal? I would say this: it is absolutely offensive, right? To have a ad of a black boy modeling a sweatshirt that says "coolest monkey in the jungle." I think that is absolutely offensive to black people. Am I offended by it? Nope, not even surprised. Right. So go ahead and comment in the chats. What are your thoughts on this whole thing, man? And are you personally offended? Right. I get that a lot of us think that, okay, I can understand why black people are offended, but are you personally offended? That's what I want to know today. And I'll give you my thoughts in a second. Who do we have on? You guys know how we do it, man. Shout out your brand, who you are, where you're from. And then let's talk. Let's have a candid conversation about this whole deal. And I'll tell you what I think we should be a little bit more offended by when we see stuff like this happening, versus, why I think, we got to get out of our cotton picking feelings, man. Pun intended with the cotton picking too. We just got to get out of our feelings so much about every little thing. Am I saying that didn't make me feel a certain type of way? Yeah, but I understand that we're in the midst of a psychological war. So it's certain things that I take mental note of, but I don't react, right? And I think I think we could stand as a community of people to take that approach a lot more when it comes to a few other things. Because at the end of the day, man, we mad, but what are we gonna do about it? We mad, but what are we in position to do about it? So it's like with me, it's like, oh yeah, you got that off. I see you, H&M. But I can't stop long enough to react to every little thing like that because I've got a empire to build myself so that I can position myself to rival an H&M and to really go to battle with them. But really, what really just happened is I think companies like that we have the whole Dove thing. I think it's just a matter of them pledging their allegiance, right? So I think it's offensive to black people, but it's nothing new. I know it was. I know if it was my son, that shoot would have never happened. I blame the parents for letting that shoot go through, and I think the parents. I think in the article it said that the mom gave permission. Uh, and from an H&M standpoint, if they were trying to be fair, it doesn't matter if the mom said it's cool because mom doesn't speak for all of Black America or all of Black people across the world, right? So I don't think that's justification enough to say, yeah, they said it was cool, mom said it was cool, so we rolling with it. I think at some point, all of these companies have to literally pledge their allegiance to the powers that be. When Dove did it, Dove know that they make a ton of money off Black people, but I think they have to always, in some shape or form, pledge their allegiance to the powers that be. And I think an ad like that has to get approved by so many leaders within an organization, right? So many people have to come up and say that's okay for an ad like that to ever hit the media, that I think that's their way of pledging allegiance. And that's their way of thumbing their nose at the black dollar and ultimately saying, you're going to give us your money anyway, whether we offend you or not. And I think that's what's happening. And I think that there are black people in H&M stores somewhere right now shopping. uh, but one of the things I think we should be a little bit more offended by is not understanding how we are in position, or we have the means to be in position to really challenge something like that. I think when you understand the fact that we don't have a media outlet, and we've taken ownership of social media as if that is our media, and we can't communicate with the masses of black people in America or the world over because we don't have a media outlet to say this was wrong, this offended us, and as a result you're going to feel this in your pocket. I know a lot of us think we did something by sharing that on social media, but trust and believe, they got more publicity out of that on social media than dollars they're going to lose from black people saying they'll never shop at H&M. We had so many black people who didn't even know what H&M is, and now they do because of that campaign. I think that campaign was more of a publicity stunt than anything else, because the amount of media attention that they got via social media and the shares and all that kind of stuff. And if you're like me, most of my friends on Facebook are black. So we don't even see what's going on in white communities behind that ad and how much that might be stoking their sales because of the allegiance that they're pledging, right? It's so funny that we just got to get out of this knee-jerk reaction to everything, in our feelings reaction to everything. So if you're just jumping on, go ahead and type in what you think about that whole fiasco. Was it worthy of us reacting the way that we reacted? My official stance is that yes, it's offensive, but am I personally offended? Nah, nah, because I understand that entrepreneurship is warfare, and you've got to find ways to keep yourself relevant in the world of business. And this just gave them another 6 month cycle of relevancy. And who knows, they might have to come up with something different and attack another community, or offend or upset another community to stay relevant. Corbell says, I did a live earlier on the same thing. Great minds think alike. You know what I'm upset about, Corbell, is that we don't have enough national brands ourselves to be able to say, uh, and I know some people are doing this right now locally in small brands, but what if we had a national brand to come out on the same day that that media image was released and they put out a sweatshirt that says King of the Jungle and put them side by side? And we drove, not only did we not give H&M any money, but then we cycled money into a black owned brand to show our support of a black owned brand in the same vein. I think that's what's a little bit more offensive to me, is that we don't have enough national brands to really uh, take advantage of a situation like this, because it's one thing to say, for all of those people who shop at H&M that happen to be black and they're saying I'll never shop at H&M again. But if you don't give them somewhere else to go shop, if you don't give them another outlet, chances are they're going to run to another white-owned company, or I don't even know who owns H&M, but they're going to go to another company that's not us, and they're just going to spend their money there until that company or that brand pisses them off. Like with Dove, a lot of people went from Dove, uh, and now they started rocking with Suave, or they went from Dove and started rocking with Procter and Gamble, or they went from Dove and started rocking with Calgon, or whoever. But these aren't our brands. But if we had some brands, some national brands in place when this kind of stuff happens, then you say, okay, not only am I not shopping with H&M, but we have a black-owned soap manufacturing company. I'm going to go ahead and give them a shot, which I should have been all along, but I haven't for whatever reason. Now I'm going to give them a shot. And then that gives that black-owned brand the ability to create some relevance out of a negative situation. So I don't think the saying was offensive. Their tack was just wrong, but we don't understand big business. Yeah, I think that was cool. I think the saying was offensive. I think it was offensive because, and I think if they wanted to lessen the blow, they'd have put a white kid in that sweatshirt. I think if they wanted to soften the blow, knowing that this is a shirt, it's a brand, kids are going to wear it. If somebody went in and bought that for their kid and they've got a black kid and that black kid is running around saying, and with a shirt on that says coolest monkey in the jungle, that's one thing for the parents to buy. I think if they wanted to lessen the blow of that, they'd have put a white kid in that in that sweatshirt if they were trying to be sensitive. But again, I think this was a pledge of allegiance to the powers that be, and I think all brands and big companies have to do that. I mean, come on, the list goes on and on and on. At some point, in some public media outlet, some of these other culture-owned brands and companies are public, have made a point to make it public that they don't create for us, that they don't want us in their things, and all that kind of stuff. And that's cool. I listen, man. I understand that prejudice exists, and I don't have a problem with you creating for you and your culture, and I don't, and you shouldn't have a problem with me creating for me and my culture. That's not my issue, right? I do things specifically for the black community. As a black man, I see where our shortcomings are and the solutions that we need in our community, and I'm creating solutions specifically for our community. That doesn't mean I hate another community. If when Ralph Lauren or whoever comes out and says that they don't create clothes for us or they don't want us in their brand, I'm not mad at that. They're trying to serve their community, right? I'm more mad with our people knowing that that's his stance, continuing to promote and build his brand while we're suffering. Since we just went through this with Dove and the Shea Butter, yeah, they used to market for them. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. It's all like I said, entrepreneurship is warfare, and sometimes to maintain your relevancy, you have to make bold moves like this. And again, I think it's more of pledging allegiance than just making a bold move to stay relevant in a particular market. Like I said, they've all done it at one point or another. And I think somebody's behind the scenes pulling some strings and said, "Hey, you have to do this," and that sort of thing. I can't prove anything like that, of course, but it just it happens too frequently. Um, and there's always an apology that comes behind it, but it's like you knew this was going to be the reaction. So my thing is, let's stop reacting and let's start being proactive and building. Let's take the emotions out of it, and you know, like, oh, okay, this how we work. This how we doing it. Okay, I get it, and we just keep it moving, right? Because we literally blew up their spot for a 48-hour period, and I just think that that's not necessary. I don't think that is um, smart on our part to let them basically dictate to us from an emotional standpoint. They know exactly how we're going to react. They know exactly what we're going to do, what the response is going to be. Who knows? H&M might be launching a new store under a different name right now, and they want us in that store. And this takes money away from their primary location, pledges allegiance to their primary customer base, while at the same time they got ownership in some other stores that we might flock to for the in the name of not spending money with H&M. So I'm more offended that we don't have a national brand that could swoop in and take advantage of this opportunity and drive some of this frustrated traffic into some of our own stores, into some of our own brands, and get capitalize on some of those dollars that are, you know, being now diverted away from H&M. But right now, they're just going to go to another store that's not owned by us for the most part. So we have to understand how to scale business and how to create, uh, you know, chains and franchises so that we can dot the globe with business enterprises that people can support on a wider scale, right? Because again, people are going to say, "I'm not spending another dime with H&M," but where are they going to go spend that money? That's the question. Right? People share this all over social media, but do we have black-owned media, large scale, covering the globe to say, hey, here's the latest in companies who are ticking off black people. Here's what we're going to do to combat that. Here's where we recommend you spend your money, and show a list of other black-owned clothing manufacturers that people could patronize. That's not in place, and they know that's not in place. So basically, not a whole lot that can be done other than people trying to withhold their money. People could go to some smaller mom and pop shops to kind of do some of their shopping there, which I recommend, shopping locally and things of that nature. But eventually, our local um, small enterprises have to understand the need for them to scale up. They have to understand the need to scale up and make a bigger, bolder presence, more convenient and accessible presence in every major city in the country. All the malls should have a chain black-owned store because we got the talent, we have the intellect. I don't think we just have a thought process. Says, but why is uh, bathing ape not offensive to us? Will rock that, but mad at Hennis and Morris. I don't know Bathing Ape, Corvell, but yeah, that could be something that's equally as offensive. But again, branding and marketing spin, you know, it's like somebody told us we were supposed to be mad at that, so we are. They didn't tell us we were supposed to be mad at Bathing Ape, so we're not, right? That's kind of how this whole thing kind of works. And I put up the post on my fan page on Facebook, Financial Health Mentor, and just asked a question. You know, are they insensitive? Are you offended, or should we be, or is this, you know, water under the bridge? And for me, I just think it's water under the bridge. I just think it's kind of how they operate. Is this their mode of operandi, as some people might call it? But until we understand business at a greater scale, until we get the collaboration versus competition mindset to where we can start building some massive brands and start covering more of our communities from a place to spend that money and start really setting up in all of the malls around the country or building our own malls even better, where we know that, okay, here is where 98% of our dollars is going to go to, because we know what's going to happen with that. We know that, these advertisers are going to be in favor of creating positive images for us and not derogatory images and things of that nature. So that's kind of my whole take on the H&M deal. Is like, let's stop being so emotional about every little thing. Uh, Not to say that we don't take note, because best believe I take note. And as my brand is under development, it's like, yeah, I see you, H&M. I see what you think of us, right? Right. I take note, but I don't react. And I think that's kind of the process that we have to be. But the reason the people who are reacting are the people who aren't building. See, I don't have time to react because I'm in the process of building. But when you're not building, then you can react and you can try to demand that someone else's reacts on your behalf. It's like, nah, I'm building. I'm building. Oh, I see you, H&M, but that's all I got is an opportunity to take note and say I see you, but I'm building, and just know I'm coming for you, right? Since my point is, how come we don't share posts from business owners that we know, but we'll make that garbage go viral? My point exactly. Another thing that we should be a little bit more offended by, because there's some great clothing designers out there that do great work, but nobody is. And Corbell, I know without a shadow of a doubt, somebody is going to create a King of the Jungle T-shirt with a black model, and nobody is going to share that, right? They're going to create an answer to that ad, and nobody's going to share it, not to the tune that they shared this. And that's how we have to start responding to stuff like this. Is okay, I see you, yeah, but you ain't getting no rouse out of us because we're too busy building, right? To focus on you riling us up just because you put a black boy in a shirt that says monkey. Ha ha. Joke's on you. We got an empire to build. So we see you and we coming for you. You just better be prepared. And when we come for you, it's not about social media posts about how we not gonna spend money with you. No, we coming for you for real, coming for you. So I think that's kind of what we have to start looking at when stuff like this happens. It's like, yeah, I see you, but let's keep building. Let's keep working together. Let's keep grinding. Right. So exactly. I have only seen three business owners I know talk about this. We work. We too busy working, man. We too busy building. We're grinding. So that's kind of how it's got to be. But again, just take note and keep it moving. Right. If you don't like that, some of the major brands out here that our people are spending all this money with, you don't like the fact that they're all saying they don't want black people in their stuff, then we got to start building brands for us and by us, right? On a larger scale. And we can't just celebrate when one brand makes national recognition, because that one brand is not enough. How many brands actually exist? And we celebrate when one brand makes it, and nobody else, that one brand making it and everybody else stops trying. So that's what's a little confusing to me. So that's my 2 cents, man. You won't hear another peep out of me about this whole H&M thing. But I just thought I would give my 2 cents and encourage us to keep building. Take note of that little slick stuff that they trying to get off. Yeah, you tried to get that off, but yeah, we coming for you. We're just gonna keep building, and eventually, you don't want our dollar, so we're gonna create a space where our dollar will matter to us, and we're gonna create the opportunities for us to spend and continue to deal with one another. And that's what we got to be more offended by, not their sly, undercover, underhanded attacks or jabs. Is let's just keep building and not let that stuff ruffle our feathers, and create our own economic base that we can shop with each other, and we know what the money and the resources are going to do come behind that, right? Because H&M is providing jobs for their people. We don't have brands because a lot of our dollars are going to brands like that, and therefore we can't create the jobs that we want in our community and things of that nature. So let's just keep building, man, and let's not be so easily offended when somebody takes a jab at us, man. Because I think George Fraser says talks about an ancient African proverb that says, "When spiders unite, they can tie up a lion." When spiders unite, they can tie up a lion. And I think we just got to keep working towards our collective unity and building little brands into regional brands and into ultimately national brands. And that's going to take a lot of collaboration from a lot of different people to make that happen. So let's get out of the competition mode, get into collaboration mode, and we can start building brands that will rival companies like H&M, and we don't have to worry about their little jabs and their little pokes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community. Until I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve it. Quick announcement before I go. This Friday, I will be on ERGJ Enterprises fan page with the Money and Power Hour, talking about crypto versus network marketing. So that should be a fun show. We're going to go 2 hours. So if you have not already checked out that page, please do so and stay locked right here. I'm going to keep promoting that and give you access to the links and all that kind of stuff. So let's get this unity together and let's go to the next level. Peace out, y'all.